Hello and welcome to episode 24 of our Timberborn Update 4 Hard Mode Let's Play series with the Iron Teeth faction. Last time, we expanded a whole bunch of stuff, specifically over in this district, with a bunch of these engines and a bunch of decorations and a bunch of good stuff. A bunch of water wheels and a bunch of infrastructure improvements. But now we're at the beginning of a 29-day drought here in cycle 32 on only 6 days of water coming in, so it's gonna get a little bit rough. Not looking too promising here, but we're gonna do our best, as we always do, and figure out different things to help us get through this and fix a couple other things along the way. But first, before we do anything else, we do have a winner from the district renaming polls for our district number 2 in the middle of the lake, and that was Pumpington. So we're gonna go ahead and get that renamed right now. And there you go. Thanks everyone, of course, for suggesting and voting on the polls. The next poll is live now on the community tab. If you go and check, that'll be for this district right here, District 3. Had some pretty good suggestions for names, so go ahead and check that out and vote on those, and then we'll rename this one on Thursday's episode. But that being said, we are now ready to go. Take on this 29-day drought. We are not going to get through the whole thing today, but we're going to do as much as we can and get ourselves in a good position. Our biggest problem right now is going to be water. And you might say, hey, that's not really a thing because you have 5,200 units stored. Well, we also have 344 beavers right now that actually need to consume water, and our first district only has 1,600 stored. That is not enough. That's only a couple days supply. So what we need to be doing is getting water out of Pumpington and into Beaverburg proper. So, one thing that a couple people suggested was to make sure that one of these is set to supply, and it is. So I'm not exactly sure what the issue is with getting across the district boundaries here. Especially considering one of these is set to accept. Oh, this one's set to supply as well. We should probably have that set to obtain. Either that or just accept only. Let's roll with accept only for right now. Okay, because these two are set to obtain because they're closest to the houses. That's probably a better option. Yeah, we just need some more storage, I think, is what's going on here, because there's way too many beavers in one district to not have a lot of water stored up. So that's going to be a continual thing for us to try and figure out today. Because right now, this district seems to be doing just fine. We have 11 unemployed beavers here. That's probably because we can't really do too much else in this area. So we're going to need to keep expanding things. And one way to do that is going to be through terraforming, which of course is bot controlled. So we're going to have to expand our bot charging infrastructure into this district and figure out exactly how we're going to get away with all that stuff. But one of the ideas that I was thinking we're going to go with, as suggested by a couple people over the last several episodes, is to actually reclaim some of the land in this lake. Because right now, it's not really deep here. It's kind of shallow, and if it were quote-unquote full, all of this would be water as well. Which, while that's nice, as it starts drying up, you start to lose a lot of surface area of the water, which makes it evaporate a lot less fast, but also really shrinks the arable land with your crops and your trees and everything. So theoretically, the better thing to do is just go ahead and reclaim a lot of this as just regular land and actually blast out the depth down here to make these areas deeper and maybe not so wide. So we're going to get into that with the terraforming, of course, once we get bots ready to go here. It's going to probably require we do a little bit of a rebuild of our power shaft infrastructure, just based on how these things are set up. It's kind of a pain. Let's go ahead and detonate these things in this district since that's already sitting there. Of course, the reason that's there is so we can keep building charging stations, because these guys are going to need it. But right now we have this district, the power going by this way. We did leave ourselves a connection right here if we so chose to get that put back into place. But I think most of our work that we're going to be doing is going to be happening right around here. So what we probably want to do instead is to reroute some of this up here and put in some sort of charging stations. But it might actually be easier to just come straight out of here and come right up the top. Basically what I'm wanting to do is most of this land right here should be reclaimed. Probably all of this that's currently above water, I think we're going to want to reclaim and then keep blasting out these, because there's a lot of land we could actually make very good use of for things like campfires and well-being and all that good stuff. And also growing more trees, because we really don't have very many logs left. Thanks to all of the relentless burning of logs that we have going on over here. And that's part of the reason we want to do gravity batteries too. Because even if we aren't producing enough to recharge the gravity batteries during a drought, if you have enough gravity batteries, it doesn't matter. Because they'll just continually discharge. Like these right now, since we're producing so much power, 9200 versus 8910 demand, these aren't going to go down. But if we reduce the amount of engines we have, which is a goal that I want to work toward, then of course we'll be able to use the gravity batteries and recharge them with our enormous, ridiculous setup of water wheels as the regular season comes back in. So we'll be kind of slowly continuing to build this up, making sure this is all connected. It's going to be kind of a long process, but we'll get there. Now, for right now, this guy still is waiting on the wooden stairs to be able to come up and take care of these trees, which are, of course, already marked for cutting. I think he should be able to reach all these once the stairs are in place. Not exactly sure, but of course we'll have to wait and see just what happens there. So first order business is going to be to get bot charging stations in here. Theoretically, this is closer, but the construction of our high power shafts is going to make it kind of hard to get anything over there. So I think it's actually going to be faster for us to come out here and just put in some of these guys. And then come right up over here and then have some charging stations along this route right here. We'll just put 3 of those in right now to start. And then I think I've done my... nope, that's actually incorrect. I thought I'd done my placement math correctly in my head, but surprise, surprise, my math was bad because it almost always is. So we'll go with this. Be just fine. And what we're going to do, of course, is bridge across here with our... Are you serious? There's a tree there? Oh god, these are so annoying. Trees in the bottom here. I don't even know if the beavers can get over here. First off. Yeah, too far away. Alright. Let's get rid of all of these. We just have to make sure these connect underneath, and they do, so that's good. I missed the ladders mod so much. Have I said that lately today? I have not, so allow me to be the first to remind you that I dearly miss the ladders mod, and I welcome our return to modded gameplay as soon as we're finished with this one and with the Drowned Nightmare Mode series streams that we do every weekend. But I digress. This is hopefully going to be able to be built now. And while we're waiting for that to happen, we can go ahead and unsuccessfully exit a game screen I thought I was in, but I'm in fact not in, and start placing these terrain blocks down. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start plopping these things down right over here. Now this is going to be a lot of dirt. And you might be saying this is an inordinate, unacceptable amount of dirt to just be placing willy-nilly, and you might be correct. But guess what? We're going to do it anyway. That's fine. So basically all we're going to do is follow the existing contour of this part of the land, just reclaim some of this, and of course that's going to go for this area as well once we get there. In fact, if we can get the water situation improved a little bit more, we might even turn this into just some sort of like a swimming pool type area where we build another set of paths over here, another Lido, and just have them go to town with that. We'll see. We got plenty to take care of before we get to that point. Plus, this is completely dry, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us. But I think our beavers are up to the task. We'll see just what ends up happening there. It's going to be kind of a long process. Might not be super fast. Probably won't even happen today, but it is a good step toward the future, and we'll be putting ourselves in a good position with each one of these blocks that gets placed in, because that means we'll have less surface area to evaporate from and more time to focus on doing other fun stuff like decorating, which is also something we need to do today. So to blast all this out, we're going to have to demolish all of these dead trees. It's going to be something that just kind of takes a long time, kind of irritating, but it's got to be done. I don't think we need to worry about actually cutting these down with the lumberjacks or anything. We do still have a pretty good amount of trees. They're just taking their time to grow back in, and we should see some of these pop back up while we are working on stuff. We also have all these pine trees we can cut down if we have to. Not to mention, we have a tree farm over here, and if we can ever figure out how to get actual lumberjacks to work down here, then we'll get into that. Now, that being said, we do have a huge reservoir right here that we can let out into this district should the need arise, and I think we might end up having to do that depending on how stuff is going to end up looking here. But let's not get there before we have to get there, you know? Fortunately, it seems like the water situation is not quite as bad currently, even though we're on 1x speed, as it could be. Let's go ahead and turn on at turbo mode, let them get to it, and start thinking about getting rid of more of these birthing pods. Now, I know this is something we talked about last time, and in a lot of the playthroughs actually, looking for reasons, excuses to get rid of these breeding pods as soon as they're finished, well, breeding. But conveniently, or inconveniently, depending on the perspective you have, these are not at the point where we can get rid of them without just destroying a beaver that's in the process of being made, which obviously we don't want to do. So we're just going to have to kind of randomly check in on these things. There's a couple that are kind of close, but we'll just have to randomly keep checking in and see what all is going to be happening. We have plenty of storage for water, so don't worry. We are not going to run out as long as we can keep moving between districts. We do have fully staffed district crossings on both sides, and they should be taking advantage of that to the fullest. But for now, all we can do is really wait. Especially because we have all this construction going on. And these guys aren't exactly expediting the process. Now this district, remember, we took out all of the builders' huts. So all we have now are these 4 beavers working in the district center to take care of things. So it probably would behoove us to put in another builder's hut, just like the one we destroyed over here earlier. So we will do that. We'll put one in there, and then of course we'll bring in the bots just as soon as all of our construction is finished. Unfortunately, it is going to be kind of a lengthy process, so let's make sure this builder's hut gets built first, or else we're going to be waiting for a very, very long time. Now this guy should be cutting down trees, and he's got space. Looks like that's exactly what he's doing. So we're looking all right. I'm going to go ahead right now. I'm going to pause a number of these engines because we have the power reserve and we can always get it back. But right now we really don't need to be worrying about it. We have gravity batteries and we can build more, and these are not going down fast enough for it to really be that much of a concern for us. We just have to make sure that everything gets blasted out appropriately, and they've got a couple more levels. Oh yeah, they got a couple more levels to go there. These guys, I think, can go, yeah, 34,000. Yeah, they got time. And of course, these guys over here as well. I think that's all the way down as far as it goes, and that also is as far as it goes over here. So we'll keep coming up with things for them to do. And in this district, the beaver bots are not fully employed, which is astounding. That means that we need to invent more things for them to do, like unlocking more things for them to work at and free up our other beavers to do other things. Now, I think most of the industrial stuff over here is already fully automated with the bots. Just check a couple of these. Ah, not the printing press. All right, well, we have science to do that, so let's go ahead and start automating some of these. We've unlocked all of our monuments already, so we don't have to worry about that. The only things we haven't really unlocked are obviously some of the decorations, the mud bath that we can't really do yet, and then deep mechanical water pumps and stream gauges, which we hardly ever use, and then, of course, the long bridges, which we probably aren't going to use, and the large platform, which we, again, probably aren't going to use. So everything is fine. We just want to make sure that all of these are set up to be bot powered. It looks like they are, so we can go ahead and... Oh, these are already set to bots? All right, well, builders. Bots can become builders. And then I think after that, the next thing to do would be to place bots in these water pumps. Just get all of the water out of here that we possibly can because, well, we need it. We can always let more out. So now we have 0 unemployed bots. We have 18 unemployed beavers, which is good for the beavers getting well-being increases. That's always what we want to see. All right, so now some of these breeding pods are getting close to the point where we can get rid of them. But I think we're going to want to keep our eye on this guy right here. So we'll keep this window up while it's going in, while we go around the town looking at things. It looks like they've gotten rid of the tree there, but we're going to wait until this is completed, and then we'll get rid of that. Scout a couple more things. Like this district here, you see it's already down almost a full block in the first 5 days, which is probably mostly from sucking out with these things. I don't think evaporation's quite that fast. So we have enough water stored. I think we could probably shut these off and be okay and save it for emergency release to come down here, because of course it all flows downhill. But I don't know that that's something we want to do. And they've finished with this one, so we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to that breeding pod. Problem solved. And then of course we can come back over here, put in our triple platform. And then, because I do not remember how things go in the correct order, as usual, I can go ahead and build on the wrong part of the bridge so they can't access anything. No, that's fine. They'll get to work here. They'll get that taken care of. Building, hopefully, these two things first. And then we can just build back across with no problems. And as soon as that's done, as soon as the charging stations are in place, we can bring our bots in. And we'll be good to go. Unfortunately, it seems the problem here is gears, which I actually don't know if we have any storage for gears in this district. I don't believe so. So what we'll go ahead and do in typical us fashion when we do these things, find a place for gears. And this one is books and it's empty. So just for the time being, since there's already no books, we're going to make it into gears so they can start importing, because I know they're making them. Then we can properly utilize everything. All right, it looks like we can make our way across here. Oh, the chanting has begun. Oh, never mind, they left. We'll have to keep our strange ritualistic chants going another time. So let's take a look here at our supply of gears. We have 426 gears stored in Beaverburg 9. So we really should be able to get some over here. And we have, which means we'll be able to start building the rest of this in due time. Now I wonder if they can actually reach these. No, they're too far away. So let's make sure we take a second here to run these paths all the way across. Should be able to get to all of these. It's just kind of a long process to get at everything you want to get at. I think that should be good for right now. Should be fine. Turn our buildings back on. Alright, and this one is finished. Just waiting on somebody to come complete construction on this guy as soon as the sun comes back up. Same with this, and then of course we'll keep building across. And then we can bring our bots in, which actually we probably could go ahead and do now, because they aren't going to run out of power for a little bit of time. So let's bring in 4 to staff our terraforming station. And keep building across this way. So we should see them start to go to work pretty much immediately, putting in these little bits of dirt, and there they go. So we can trust that since these are so close here, shouldn't really have any problems. Might be a little bit annoying when they get over here and have to go, I don't know, a third of the way across the map to get charged, but hopefully not an issue. And we can leave them to that. Now, of course, over here, these are not connected. Really? Oh, that's right, because we didn't put the T-junction in here. That's right. That was something we needed to do. I'm actually going to make that a 4-way cross, because that should allow us to do the same thing over here if we so choose. Of course, having more chargers in this district is very necessary, considering they're all bots. We have 55 of them. So we need to keep them happy, need to keep them charged up, good to go. And now it looks like we've got just this final one to put in place. They're already making very good, very fast progress on putting in these terraforming blocks, so that's exciting to see. And it looks like we're very slowly clearing out all of these things. What we're going to do, as this continues, of course, get rid of this slope, we don't need that. We're going to probably detonate most of this out as low as we can go to make sure we can adequately fill during the temperate seasons, which is going to mean that these little boardwalks here are going to have to be replaced. Could be a good candidate for bridges in this specific place once we get there, but we'll see. We do have 390 explosives, so we're going to go ahead and figure out the best way to get down here. I think we can start on this side with some stairs. Just real easy right there. And just have them go ahead and blow up in sections here. We'll start on this side. And first of all, get rid of all these little trees, which actually are going to be disappearing pretty soon anyway. Once I can... Why can't I click on anything for this? There we go. So theoretically we could have just, you know, cut these down, but I'm not that worried about it. We should be fine nonetheless. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start up here in this section. Just blow all of this up. They should be able to, depending on how we put this in, should be able to place all of these, looks like, from any district. Well, either of these to this one or this one. And then we'll just continue deepening out this way. It's going to be kind of a task, but we got time. We have nothing but time. So we'll do it in segments, retract the path, keep going. You know how this goes. Very long, arduous process, but it will be worth it in the end because we'll increase our storage capacity. We'll be in good shape. And look, our water storage is actually full. Probably in no small part due to having the bots here. So I think what we're going to want to do is actually do a little bit of strategic release here. Looks like going down to 2 is not going to be enough to let water out. So let's go down to 1. let a pretty substantial amount of water out, but not to worry, we have tons here. We have 2,400 plus stored in this district. So what's going to happen is we're going to need to build some of these up into little reservoir areas here, which is easy enough to do with water dumps. We have plenty of space to do those over here. So that's what we're going to do. That should help save some of our crops as this water level decreases. Hopefully doesn't get too crazy. But I think overall it'll end up being fine. So I'm going to unplant this piece of kohlrabi right here. And then we're going to end up moving that path one more level over that way. Water coming out here, not spilling over the back, right? Good. All coming down into this central lake. Make sure that our beavers are good to go. Again, that's why this reservoir exists. If I could, I would have lower floodgates, but unfortunately vanilla only lets you go down to 3 high. So that is going to be an unfortunate limit of all of this. Good news, though, is that these are going to be all good to go. As soon as we get these water dumps in, we don't have to worry about our crop of kohlrabi. That is kind of superfluous anyway. That actually takes care of most of it, and then this should take care of the rest up here that isn't already covered. All right, so that's looking nice. Let's check on our explosives. Are we just about done here? Good. We'll make sure to detonate those when the time comes. Outside of that, other things we wanted to take a look at doing today. Water wheel construction should kind of be automatic at this point. And it looks like they're all built except this one right here because we haven't been able to blast. Go ahead and detonate these guys. And then make sure these are in the correct orientation, and they are. Drag them across. They should all be connected there. And now, since these are all built, we don't have to worry about that. Then we can get rid of these paths. We can put our final large water wheel right here. And then since these are all connected right here anyway, they can just waltz in from the top. We don't have to worry so much about the construction order, although I will leave the space here just in case we have a few idiot beavers that decide they want to get stuck, which hopefully will not be an issue. Now, are they done over here? They're just about... Okay, good. So now we have time to go ahead and set these off. Always super satisfying. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and demolish all of these pathways. I believe that leaves us enough space to get all of... not quite. All right, so what we'll have to do... I think this should allow all of this to get installed. Just check here. It looks like it. Yep. Very cool. And probably at some point should also make it so they can get into these. It's going to be a process, I guess we'll just say. Now they should be able to just automatically put these in as well. I don't think it's going to be an issue. We'll just go ahead and stick that in. Let them take their time with all of that. But the speed at which our terraforming is occurring is very encouraging. I think we're going to be able to get most of that done today. At least everything that I've put in. And look at this. We turned off how many? Like 5, 6 of these things? 5 of them. And this is the only bit of gravity battery we've used in the past almost 10 days of drought is 10,000 horsepower hours on this specific part here, which of course we're going to be continually increasing the capacity of by blasting. And then over here, these are looking good as well. Granted, these are not as high, so we don't have quite as much capacity, but we still have over half of those left. And we shouldn't need to go all the way down to the bottom. I just wanted to give the trees a little bit of a chance to catch up to all of the log burning that we were doing. Because right now we don't really have any harvestable trees whatsoever. These are all regrowing, and most of them are about half to 2/3 complete. So giving them half of a drought cycle to recover is probably fine. Of course, if we have to, we have these pine trees we can cut down for emergency wood. Ah, now these trees are drying out. That is a shame. These kohlrabi are almost dead, actually. So let's go ahead and get that out of there so we can turbo build the rest of this. Let's set everything up in place before we go ahead and hit unpause. Put this water dump right here. And get that built ASAP. Get somebody in here. Some water down. Should be okay. We're going to need to put another one in somewhere around here. Probably in this corner. I think. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to really work. Might need to, this is going to sound really dumb, but we might need to put in a water dump right next to the thing here. We'll see. Well, these kohlrabi are toast now anyway if they haven't finished this yet. Oh well, it's not like we don't already have. Oh, okay, cool. So now this guy just has to get here and start putting water out before quitting time, which will give him a little bit of help by extending the work hours. Hey, look at that. And I think all of this is still watered. Looks like it is. Cool. So we'll put our working hours back down to 16. That was just emergency methods. But that's looking good. The trees are going to be a lot more forgiving. So I think what we're going to end up doing, based on the geography of stuff, let's shift this path 1 unit over, and then we can build out here. I think. Okay, we'll build out 1 unit that way, and then we'll blast this one out. Put the path back in here, and then this should irrigate all of this, most of this. We might have to mess with it a little bit. I'm not going to just demolish a tree that's going to get us 8 logs in a week to put a thing a little bit closer. If we have to, we'll put another one here. Again, we have tons of water here. Not a problem. We can definitely afford to take care of all of that. But I do want to make sure we take care of this sooner rather than later. So now we just wait for somebody to pop these explosives in place. Looks like that's him right there. Have to wait for somebody else to come blow it up. There we go. All right. And then, of course, water dump goes in. Water comes out. Can't explain that. And this is progressing nicely as well. Love to see that. So I think what we're going to do here, yeah, we're going to want to put in an actual water dump somewhere. I want to put in 2 more Lidos here. So I think what we'll end up doing, terrain blocks, let's do some right here. And then we can use this actually as a another set of platforms. This is what the Lidos will go on top of. They'll hold water in nicely. Plus, hey, it's terraforming, and that's what we're trying to use. We're starting to run out of dirt, which is funny, I guess. This is going about as fast as it can, so that's fine. So what we'll do here, of course, is close that in. We'll close in on this side as well once we have the ability to get everything else taken care of here. It's going to be interesting getting stuff back up from this area. We're probably going to have to wait until this dynamite is finished so we don't have traffic going through here, and then just cut this off. So we got a little bit. Yeah, they're waiting on the... really? They're waiting on dynamite now? Oh, no, we have some. It's just slow. Alright, that's fine. Looks like this saved our trees. Very good. So now all of this area that we're actually growing things on is quote-unquote drought-proof, which means we can actually lower this floodgate all the way down to 0, let the rest of that water out, because we have the iron teeth water pumps with the long straws. That means they can draw from 6 levels down. These 3 guys right here, unfortunately, have nothing left to suck. Which means we can remove them, since they're more or less irrelevant now, and we can actually blast all of this down as far as these are, so in the future they'll be a little bit more useful. Work smarter, not harder. And of course, keep expanding this down as well. Looks like that is the last, or maybe there's one more after that whenever the dynamite gets placed in. For now, we'll just continue draining out the rest of the water that we know we don't need, and we'll be in good shape. Now, there are a couple squares here that aren't going to support any crops because of the level of the water depth here, which is, for right now it's fine. Again, we're not worried about the kohlrabi crop. This is a completely backup, fail-safe option if all of the other food were to collapse, which is probably unlikely with 12,000. But still, nonetheless, we want to be prepared for it, and that's why that's there. So we'll just keep on placing our stuff down here. Oh, they can't reach this? You serious? Well, that's annoying. Don't tell me I'm going to have to build a bridge here. What a pain. Alright. Well, we're already here doing stupid stuff, so why not just put a bridge there? That's fine. Now, how are we looking over here for our placement of explosives? This is actually looking good. I felt my computer hate me for that one. So now this is just about done. I want to put in 3 more. Then we can set that off. Actually, since nobody's here right now, I'm going to take the time to go ahead and get rid of this whole thing. And then we're going to have to put in these terrain blocks. I'm going to put one here. Oh, I can't do that because... Oh, I did it again. Because we don't have the ability to import anything if I take that out. So that was a dumb on my part. I'm going to have to... I hate this. I'm going to have to put this back in. I thought I could do terrain blocks here. But I realized too late that there was no dirt in the storage, which meant that it would be impossible. So, that's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. We'll just have to replace this later on once all of these terrain blocks are put in place. So, no matter. Them's the breaks. It's the way it goes. Now, what I am going to do, I just realized I should have done earlier, is make this the path that goes around, not on top of the dirt blocks. Because what we're going to have to do here is actually take this dirt block away and leave that as a hole, because actually going to have to be this terrain block as well. Because one of these has to have... Nope, get that path out of here. One of these is going to have a dump. So I now realize I've done it again. You guys are going to roast me for this. Oh, I should have made these terrain blocks too. It's fine. It's fine. We'll fix it in a second. Not a big deal. But we did need the temporary pathway here to make sure everything else got put in place. So, it is what it is. Where's my Lido? Here it is. Yep, there we go. We'll put in those right there. We'll have a nice little swimming pool. And then this will be the water dump for that. So again, looking good. Don't have any real complaints outside of me just kind of being dense and dumb a little bit. Which is, I guess, to be expected. Now, one thing we haven't done that I was trying to figure out if we should do is unlock the deep mechanical pump and start actually transferring more water out of this into the diversion channel to get it into this area. Now we could easily put in a deep water pump right here on this dam we would just have to have a second platform kind of to go around things. So if we go ahead and unlock this, which we're probably going to end up using anyway, the way this works is it just kind of sits bridging a gap with the pickup hose on one side. Can you see? Yeah. Pickup hose on one side and then the output on the other side. So you kind of can't bypass this. You have to have it in a place where you don't have to have beavers walking through that area, which theoretically is fine to have here. But yeah, I don't know that that's exactly what we're wanting to do. So again, we could put it here, and then it would just automatically suck up out of this guy and stick him into this section and then spill out through these gates into the main area. Or we could have it kind of come up into here into some sort of like a holding tank area, which might actually end up being better, and then continue powering the water wheels by these floodgates from water that we're sucking out of this side, putting it into this side. So if we were to do that, we'd have to have this entire area right here be levied, which again would not be the worst thing we've ever done over here. Would be a pretty simple construction project. Just do one of these numbers and then just have this go all the way across the top like so. And again, create like a little chamber here. The only downside to that is, again, it's a large construction project. Takes a little bit of time, and it will unfortunately cause this Lido to be unusable, but that is the price we have to pay for infrastructure. Sometimes the fun stuff has to go bye-bye, so the keep you alive stuff can exist. And considering that this area right here, now if we zoom in, I believe is now completely level. And it is. We actually don't need this path anymore. Oh, can't see. There we go. So we can go ahead and get rid of this. And they'll come collect all that. Once they do, then we can just delete all these because they can just walk on the top of the little thing here. So that's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and place in our deep mechanical pump facing the correct way, mind you. Once this is all done, we can put one right here and then another one right here if we felt so inclined. These aren't terribly fast, so we might actually want more than one. And obviously want the output to be right in front of our water wheels, so one right here would be best. Another one right here. We can just easily run the power shafts along the top of this dam here and make sure that's all good to go. Now we are going to have to make sure that we manually turn these on or off, and then also, just for the sake of, you know, not being completely stupid, the tops of these on the sides probably do need to be actual dams, just to make sure that it doesn't overflow either way, and we can theoretically at that point just have these run all the time. It would be a waste of power, but we could forget to turn them off and it wouldn't be a problem because the water would just flow right back over here instead of being wasted. So we'll do that once everything else is taken care of, I think. Yeah, they haven't actually started these yet, so I'm going to replace these two outside ones with dams, and we should be good to go. Oh, no storage for planks, huh? Now, why would we have no storage for planks if we have a plank making thing over here? Alright, so I need to find a spot for plank storage. This is not my best work, I know. We're just kind of fiddling with stuff to make sure it works here first. Alright, and then let's come back over here. These are all connected except this very last one. Again, not that it really matters because this is all kind of moot until the drought's over in the first place. But good news is, that's all done. If we really want to split hairs, we could just build our stairs here to make sure this guy can cut those 4 trees down. But that's fine. We probably are going to end up actually having trees grow up here at some point, but we're not quite there yet. Now these guys, now the water level is insufficient up here, and that is the problem behind what we are trying to do is that it's going to cause some problems with our hydration of trees. So we are going to have to put in a couple of these spaces right here that are going to be, I guess, reserved for, what's the word I'm looking for? Tree preservation efforts. So I'm going to take those 2 trees out and not replant them. Then I'll take these 2 trees out and not replant them. We'll turn these into spots for the water dumps. Unfortunately, these are only half grown. But they're not going to die for 14 days, and the drought is only going to be going for another 13. So I think we'll be okay. Now the problem is going to be they're not going to grow. And yes, I know, someone's going to say, hey, this tree's already done, you should just get rid of that one. But that's not a good spot for it. Because this is where this is currently dry right now. So we should be putting things where it is currently dry. Right? Oh, we can also build a channel here, which we should have done in the first place. We'll have to make sure we keep up with that a little bit better. But having a water dump here for an emergency is a very good thing to have. And we'll keep on working for that. Plus, we don't have to put it there just because I unplanted the trees. We can always change our mind later. Best option is to excavate the land and allow more water to fill it in the first place, which is what we're going to be trying. These guys, on the other hand, are much closer, 90%, 80%. So, of course, once this area is wet again, they should be all right. They're not going to die for another 14 days-ish. Point being, shouldn't have that many problems. If it really, really comes down to it, then we can figure something out. But for right now, I don't think it's an issue. Well, I really did a dumb here, didn't I? The good news is, though, I don't think... Yeah, I don't think... There you go, there's your good news. I don't think this is that vital because we have the connection across the way. We can go ahead and put in our terrain blocks here. And that should keep our water in place. Chanting? Yeah, alright, that's enough for me. Alright, so that is going to be fine once they get all that taken care of. Again, the dirt is slowly coming in, and this is just about done. I didn't think they were going to be able to get that done so fast, but it looks like they have. So that's very exciting to see. Meanwhile, over here, construction continues slowly, because, of course, we have to build our dam pieces to get across. They still have not come to get the planks. Well, that's fine. I guess they have better things to do. Wow, that's already full. All right, so maybe we don't need to worry about it. We'll just get rid of these. Which means I can now put in these guys right here, and then I can queue up our deep mechanical pumps. Yeah, look at that. There we go. I am going to let them come get this stuff, though. Just need to make sure that our dam pieces get built first. And then we can build in from both sides. Be all good to go. And the water level here is down about 3 full blocks at this point. So that means with the deep water pumps, I believe, if I have my math correct, we can suck another 3 blocks worth of depth out of this, which is a lot of water. That can really help our central district survive through the droughts. So honestly, we probably should have done this a long time ago, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't do it. But we are making good strides in that regard today. Now, other things, since this is going to be tied up for a little bit, we can spend a little bit of time up here putting in stuff, and a couple of you suggested I put in some control towers in this district, since now it's mostly bots. So now what we need to do is find places for that. That's going to be kind of hard, so what we'll have to do is just go ahead and build ourselves a little extension up here to this path, put a control tower there that's going to handle pretty much this entire half of the industrial district. And then we can find a spot. Maybe we could even just put it on the ground here. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Put that guy there, or we could put him on the other side. That doesn't quite reach. I don't think. Yeah, they can't reach. They can reach this though, but we're going to end up having to place it probably right here. And then put another one over here somewhere. Don't know exactly where would be best. We'll get there. But at least having one or two over here is going to massively help most of our bot friends right there. So that's good to see. Okay, and these are still dry as expected. These, of course, aren't going to grow any if they're not getting water, so we'll have to wait. But the good news is this terraforming is almost done. Waiting on the last bits of dirt to put in these two. This one, and then they can build across here and then up this way. And then we'll be good to go. And as soon as this path is complete, I'm going to probably replace each of these one at a time with dirt, just because we can. Look at them go. Look at them go. And then we can finally get these guys to come back over here, finish blowing stuff up. Then we'll be in good shape. Now this should be... yeah, there we go. They're just going to have to get to that in a second. So that's going to be a whole thing. Other stuff that we haven't done that we probably could and should do is put in some roofs on top of our barracks, which we can do through decoration, unlocking our 3x2s. Our 1x2 is already unlocked, so what I'm going to do is I believe I'm going to have to put in stairs up the side here because of how this is configured. Yeah, the lack of ladders is kind of crippling to some of this development. So that is unfortunately what we have to do, just kind of make some ugly stuff happen. Now we can put this guy here as well. Then a 1x2 on top of that. And then that means this spot right here has room for some other fun stuff. Like a beaver statue while everybody sleeps, keeping watch over the beavers. Probably could actually just put this guy in the middle right here. Then we got to find something to do with this spot. Unfortunately, there is no 3x3, there's only the 3x2. And there's only the 1x2, so if we wanted to do anything else here, it would have to be these kind of weird single peaks, and I don't know if I vibe with that much. So this might end up staying kind of like this. I made a fatal mistake. Let's pause this. Let's pause this for right now. Because now that this is connected, we have to seal this off. Which means, of course, putting in a little piece of land there. And then that will, of course, make it so this is leak-proof. And now we can do all this stuff again. So we'll put in some land there. Look at that, look at that. Soon these needles will be available to use perpetually year-round, if Timberborn World still has years, or they just use cycles. Probably is what I should be saying instead. And then maybe it doesn't matter that this is just platforms. I think we don't need to worry about it. Let's put a beaver statue here. Because they're all going to have to come through here, or most of them at some point. Watching over the pool, there you go. Take a dip with your beaver overlord smiling on you with his hammer. It's not dystopian at all. Alright, how are we looking over here? How's our power consumption looking? Okay, it's actually pretty even. Which is nice to see. And we still have power left in our gravity batteries. That's amazing. After all this time. Looks like it's working quite well. Our poor beavers are building these levees as fast as they can, but it is not a fast process. And here I am saying we're not going to get through the whole drought. I probably lied again. So, take that as you will. It's like a can of Pringles. What's their slogan? Once you pop, you can't stop, or don't stop, whatever it is. Yeah, we're having maybe a little bit too much fun here. Oh, these blueberries aren't looking too hot. That is a problem if these bushes die for the blueberries. I mean, we have 1,200 stored up, but I don't want these to die. That would be very inconvenient. So we just need to splash this with some water. Do I just put one of these water dumps here for emergency purposes? And just have this splash a little bit so our berries don't die? Is that wasteful? It might be. Just a little bit. Well, nevertheless, we're going to do it. That will reset the clock on the berries drying out. And we'll just make sure that we don't leave this on. Alright, now we can pause that. Game mechanics successfully exploited. We can move on and live our lives in peace. Alright, so this guy's all done. You can go do something else. He's not going to have to cut anything down ever again. And all of these are connected, which is hopefully, when the water comes back, going to give us a very nice power boost to our gravity batteries, which over here are completely drained. And now we're just kind of relying on the rest of them over here, which are actually not going down at all. But the whole thing's connected, right? 7,200 over there. We click on one over here. Yeah, okay, it's the same network. Ah, so I wonder why these went down first. Maybe it's because they're not as tall? I don't know. It's kind of strange. Anyway, that's all done. So now we can take the opportunity to actually make this look a little nicer. And turn all of these into dirt blocks. For no other reason than to just make them look nice. And I guess slightly reduce the surface area of this part of the map in terms of water evaporation. But yeah, look at these Lidos, they're usable. And now this guy is no longer necessary, so he can go bye-bye. And we can put in our staircase right here, so we can access the lake bed and keep blowing stuff up. That is very nice. Of course, these guys waiting to get some water put back in. Got some dynamite here that might save some of these trees. Just a few. That's nice. We'll have to remember to be a little bit more vigilant about this. Of course, these dynamite blocks we thought were sufficient at a depth of 1 actually should have been sent quite a further ways down, because now we're actually using most of this water and evaporating a lot of it. So we need to make sure we keep that in mind. Alright, we can go ahead and detonate this, which in theory actually increases the evaporation rate of this pool, but we don't need to be worried, because this is very slowly, and I do mean slowly, progressing. But it is progressing. Let's go ahead and put in this guy. How deep? Okay, so we actually want to detonate these down at least one more so they can keep on sucking. These are over here looking good. The amount of logs is actually not decreased as much as I thought it would, which bodes well for this, because I was kind of worried about turning off these engines because we'd run out of power. I do want to turn off a lot more of these, but unfortunately that's not going to be possible until we have everything else kind of built up infrastructure-wise. These water wheels should help us a lot in getting everything recharged, especially if they're available for a full temperate cycle. So what we need to do now is continue excavating all of this, which we will do best way we know how, by just putting down a ton of dynamite. that might actually still let us get at the rest of this. Yeah, let's see. How far away can I... Oh, no, they could still reach this from... I didn't want to delete the beaver. I think this is all reachable. Yeah, let's get this whole thing set up like that, huh? That sounds nice. Now remember, we're going to get rid of this causeway here and replace this with a bridge at some point. Now meanwhile, they've taken care of this. And they can build one up, but they cannot build two up. So I'm going to go ahead and put our beaver worker statue here, keeping watch over the pumpers here in Pumpington. Let them build that. And as soon as that's finished, we'll extend our roofs up here. We'll just kind of leave this section alone. Not really much else we can do about that. Yeah, they're going fast with these dynamites over here. How is this going? Okay, could be a little faster. I don't think it's super cause for alarm yet. Those unemployed beavers I see? Oh, we got to put them to work. Oh, yikes, this is low too. So that's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Well, if this is all dead as well, so we can take a chance here to put in another one of those dump stations. Yeah, that's what we're going to want. Easy, just unplant this so they can't mess with that anymore. Obviously, we want them to focus on all of this stuff. Unfortunately, they can't place this dynamite until the rest of the levees are in place. So I think what we're going to do, we got beavers dying of old age, and they're not being replaced because we took away some of these breeding pods, which is good. We don't need a huge, ridiculous population. But look at all these extra bots we have. We have so many more bots now. We should be automating all of our food stuff, which actually is going to be a much easier process if we just go here to the workplace tab. I always forget about that stuff. Yeah, well, let's automate all of our food stuff. Except farmhouses. We can keep beavers in farmhouses, but the fermenters, food factories are already set. Hydroponic gardens. Yeah, that should be a bot thing. Anyway. Alright, lumber mill's already done. Inventors obviously cannot be automated. We'll probably send a lot more beavers there. Lumberjack flags, I'm not worried about. Oil presses. Paper mills, printing press, smelters, tapper shack, not worried about. Water dumps can be beavers. Wood workshop's already automated. Alright, how many bots do we have? 7 unemployed bots. Okay, that's probably a good start. Now these things are trying to dry out again. Oh, there goes a whole bunch of water. Okay, so we're gonna have to really be vigilant here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. All right, so that's on. Let's pause that again. Oh, what fun, huh? Now all of these are going to be super low. Good news is, though, explosions. And also good news, this is very close to being done, which means we can save a substantial portion of our stuff down here by installing these mechanical water pumps. Just as soon as those are available. I hope that's before the end of this drought, or that's going to be kind of some wasted effort on our part. Well, not necessarily wasted, just maybe not the most optimal timing on it. And amazingly, oh, yeah, these gravity batteries aren't discharging because they're not connected. I don't know why I thought that was so incredible. We still had power left. It's because it's not being used. Oh boy, that was a all-time blunder on me there. So in the time that we've been constructing this kind of mini dam, This area right here has gone down from water level being here to only about half a block more. So that's good news for our evaporation statistics. But you and I both know we would much rather have this thing completely filled up. Good news, though, is that now our suction out of here should not be as big of a problem because all of this is the correct height. I am going to do one more level down, just to be safe. Probably doesn't need it, but who knows? Might make a difference someday, might not. But we're close enough now. We might as well just do it. Got another 4.5 days left. Fortunately, none of our food crop is threatened because we do have these dump stations stationed throughout, and it seems to be doing its job pretty nicely. But we really do need to get the rest of this way deeper, way fast. So let's go ahead and detonate here and here. And then we can go ahead and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get rid of those. And put in dynamite here. Of course, we'll have to do this in segments because we always do. But this should, by the time we've detonated the rest of this, preserve the overall capacity, but made it a little bit less evaporation prone. I wish we would have had more time to put in some additional depth, but unfortunately that's not the case. We have not had the capacity to do that. It's kind of a long process to get all of this taken care of. We can, in theory... Oh, no, it was on the wrong section here. We can detonate this stuff down, and we probably should, but we're not going to have too much in the way of dynamite. We keep doing everything, but every little bit counts. Every little bit that we can do, we of course are going to attempt to do. All right, so this is done. Let's go ahead and put in our deep mechanical water pumps. One here, one here. No chance for silly billies because they can't get stuck because there's no space in the middle. And of course, these are going to be kind of a problem with the gears. But the good news is we do have 1,200 gears stored all over the map. We just have to get them in here. And I believe we do have storage for gears, so they can be imported. It's just going to kind of be a... Oh, that was fast to get to 36 in this one. All right. Maybe it's not as hopeless as I thought here. Well, it's going to be a race against the clock, isn't it, to get these things built before... Oh, treated planks, treated planks. We cannot forget about the treated planks. Going to have another little storage of these guys just crammed in somewhere. So why not just find a really inconvenient place for it so we can increase the distance these guys have to travel. So let's make that a priority, get that built up, and we'll be looking a whole lot better. So I don't think it's unreasonable to have at least one of these working before the drought ends. Oh, I'm not going to have an hour-long video. Yeah, okay. Yeah, see how well that worked. Spoiler alert, it didn't. And the amount of logs we have is actually increasing, which is very, very good to see. Especially with the lack of water we have right here. But we've done a lot of work this episode to try and improve our water situation. And I think we're going to reap dividends of that for a long, long time to come. Or at least until the end of this playthrough. None of these last forever, but this one we're going to do the best we can. Alright, and that's looking nice. We will, of course, keep on using this as much as we can. Gradually working our way to deepening all of this. But again, it's a process. It takes a very long time to get all of this stuff correctly placed and detonated. So this really is just about the best we can ask for here. It's a very, very long process. I think that's probably going to be about as good as we can get. There's no way this is all going to be placed today. Don't worry. That's for the future. But to get this much progress done, as we have, has been very, very exciting to see. It's always fun to watch them build stuff. Why haven't they built this yet? I have marked that at the utmost priority. So I'm actually going to lower the priority for these two things right now so we can get this built, because they're going to ignore building the small industrial pile because it's technically behind this, but it can't be built because this isn't built. Hopefully. There we go. There we go. Just need a couple more guys to get in here and get on that. And there we go. That's all ready to go. Going to go ahead and super prioritize at least one of these. And we do have a full two, well, a little more than two segments in height on the deep mechanical pump. Just waiting on the treated planks. That's going to be kind of an ordeal to get the rest of this put in, but it's fine. Now, one thing we probably should do is put in another one of these explosives factories. But why is this... Oh, he's recharging. Okay. That's fine. This is kind of a circuitous path to get up here. But, I don't know. What else am I going to do? Oh, these trees dried out and died. Really? Okay, well, we're going to need to make sure that we are a little bit more careful in the future about that. Alright, this is ready. Just about. This, I did not think was going to be all good to go, but I guess it is. Alright, well that's certainly going to help. It's a very good start. Of course, we're not going to have time before this cycle is up to do too much more here, but that is a pretty good capacity upgrade for this side. And I think what we can do here is actually send this all the way back around, since we know they can come off the corner here. And then slowly we can work our way out toward the future blasting areas here. But this is a good start. Every little bit does matter. Alright, did we finish here? Yeah, let's go ahead and put in another set of roofing things here. Probably should have been doing this the whole time, but our well-being is gradually increasing, which is what you want to see. Alright, this is finished. Definitely should have kept my eye out for this. Now we have to put in our shafts, which I conveniently finished this at the end of the day, end of the workday, so no beavers are actually going to do it. And now we have to babysit this. Oh well. What you gonna do? Not really much you can do. But the good news is this is here. And this one is not too terribly far behind, so this will be working, hopefully, before the end of the drought. That's already set to a standard priority. This, of course, is going to be super prioritized. And I'm going to have to manually place all of these. Yes, I know that is suboptimal, but that is the situation we find ourselves in. So let's just hope we get a eager beaver here in the morning to start building everything. We'll keep this ready and primed to go. Yeah, so go get your log. Come over here. Place it. Put this in. High priority. And wait for another beaver to come in. Come on. There you go. Another one. High priority. We'll do one more, and then, of course, we'll have to have a four-way here, most likely, in case we want to put in charging stations here later on. Must prevent silly billies at all costs. Now, come on, don't make a liar out of me. Put this in here. Finish it. Finish it. Alright, now this one requires 4 logs. It will be the final link to getting this thing finished. and replenishing our water supply. Look how low this is. Man. All right, so now this is, look at that water go. That is, that's pumping. And it's going to take a little while to fill this all the way up and get these, spilling out here. But it is, it's getting close. There we go, water's coming out. And they're both working. Fantastic. Very, very, very good news. That's going to keep going, even though the drought is over. Let's make sure these are set to 1.5. This is new, set to 2.5. Water will have to squeeze all the way through all of these guys to recharge our gravity batteries. But we are looking good. These are just now drying out, so they'll be fine. We have all of this looking pretty good in terms of explosives. Do a little bit more here. Then, of course, we'll come back and demolish all of the pathing and everything. But this is a big, big terraforming improvement and water capacity versus evaporation statistics. And just like that, the drought is over. We got a nice head start on refilling thanks to our little guys right here who are out of sync. That is kind of annoying, but whatever. Who cares? That's fine. The water is coming back in. Looking quite nice. This whole area will be connected once again to the full depth. That's going to be very good. And water should be moving through here very slowly, but it will eventually increase in speed. All of these are connected. Power output ramping up. Look at that. Look at that. We are getting somewhere, folks. Making good progress, even if it's slow. Yeah, but this is a much better solution for activating these water wheels, because this can pretty much run indefinitely as it's filling without really worrying about anything. And even after. So I like that we did that. Let's put in this water dump here just to make sure that that's always taken care of. Looking good. And there you have it. We managed to survive without any issues related to water aside from these trees. I guess technically drying out, which is a big shame considering oh man, how much of a pain these are to replant. So let's okay, this is kind of a problem. I'm going to fully lower that floodgate. Some of these trees are good. Some of them only have half a day left. You're not going to save every single tree, but you do want to do what you can. So that's what we're going to do here. Look at these guys making tons of power. Look at that, over 10,000. Now it is going to decrease slightly because these aren't running. But that is a nice power output. What's that thing Lord Farquaad says in Shrek? Some of you may have to die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Or whatever it is. That is, what a great movie. Was it 20 years old this year? I think, maybe. 2003? Was that when that came out, or was it 2001? I don't remember. Anyway, I digress. We made the sacrifice with these oak trees. But, in the long run, it's going to end up being worth it, because now this is in a much, much better place. Looking good. We can take another second here to put in our roof pieces. Should be fine. Probably I'm going to go ahead and detonate these. There we go. Was there water really just kind of stored there? Alright, that's fine. No, so this should refill, hopefully nicely. Looks like a lot of these trees ended up being goners, which is a huge shame. But, you know, it happens. We can, however... What are they? These ding-dongs already replanted this? Oh, no, this is the one that was already unplanted. That's right. That's fine. This one can stay, 55%. But this one already being dried out isn't necessarily the death knell for that. That should be fine. These trees are looking okay as well. All right, now we can put in our water dump. Should have done this a long time ago, but didn't. So we will pay for our sins and recoup our supply of oak trees here. That is a shame, though. But, you know, we'll be fine. Our log count has actually increased this entire time, so we don't really need to be super worried about that. Gravity batteries are recharging, which is good news. These are generating tons of power. 300-ish each, which isn't technically design power, but we do have 12 of these here that we weren't able to take advantage of last temperate cycle. So that's very, very exciting. Love to see that. It's just losing a whole lot of trees. Fortunately, these are rehydrating very slowly, and they should be good to go now. Yeah, looks like they're going to be fine. Well, most of these. This one might not make it. Yep, 0.00 days. Come on, get somebody in here. Let's go. This tree's going to die. Oh, what a pain. And that one, I'm sure. Yep, it's about to. Beavers dying of old age, trees dying of no water just right before this comes in. Oh well, at least we know this is going to take care of almost all the trees. So we just have to get a little bit better at water resource management. Keep these nice and deep. We'll actually give them some pockets here. We already had some here, but they're not deep enough to last a super long time. So we're going to want to make sure these get blasted again. There's so many little things that we want to make sure we're staying on top of. It gets to be a little bit much sometimes. But fortunately, all this is working. And our massive crater district, which of course you can vote on the name for right now on the channel, so don't forget about that, is helping out in its own way with our continuous power generation and filling up the bowl. Except this side might be suffering just a tiny bit as a result. I don't think we need to be super worried about it, though. I can always turn these off if I so choose. Considering it's day 3 and we haven't had the drought warning yet, that means we do have at least 3 more days in the temperate season. So theoretically, we can get this fixed. But I did want to... oh, and now the... oh, jeez. Yeah, now this can't reach because of the other bridge. So now we have to put this bridge in place too. Oh, boy. Oh, what fun. I was going to blast this down so we could put these guys back in. Look at all this stuff. No wonder these episodes become so long so quickly. I get distracted and I start doing additional things that I don't really need to be doing. Well, I think what we're going to have to do to make sure our gravity batteries get recharged is turn these back on. That's another 2,000 horsepower per hour, whatever the unit is. I don't know. It's, somebody said some sort of weird physics unit or something. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm not math-oriented, in case you haven't heard me say that before. But, we'll just be happy to play the game. How about that? That's fine. Alright, so that's looking alright. This is going to be more next time stuff for blasting. I don't think we're going to get too much more capacity out of this one. But I really, really would like to get all of this completely down to like this level, maybe. I don't think that's as far down as the game's going to let us go, but I also can't get rid of all of this stuff to blast underneath it, and we don't really need to. Plus, it's unlikely that we can actually fill all of this up in a regular temperate season anyway, without some sort of shenanigans or changing the amount of water that actually comes out of our source blocks, which I don't think we want to do. So for right now, I think we can be pretty happy with this. They'll rebuild all of our dead trees, and we just have to do our best, make sure we don't make that kind of a mistake again. But yeah, everything is looking good. I did get pretty much everything I wanted to do today outside of maybe a little bit of aesthetic stuff additionally. Are you serious? They can't... I hate this. I want my ladders back so bad. This is absolute four-letter word to not be able to put this in. Oh, what a pain. Absolute nonsense. So that needs to be that way. You don't need to do that. It's just an aesthetic thing. You're probably right. But what can you do? I want it to look nice. That is the whole point, is it not? Have things look nice so you can enjoy looking at them. There's our drought warning. So we got 3 more days. And this is filling up faster than we're pumping it out, which is good. We do want this area down here to be more filled than it currently is. So we'll keep that going. This district doesn't matter because it's importing water and it has these dumps. So we really shouldn't have any water spilling over the top of these at all. And it won't happen in 3 days because it's not going to get another block and a half high. But each little bit of this is going to help. So as soon as they get all of these in place, probably could, there we go. Just run away from the explosion. It can't hurt you. It's just an explosion. Yeah, every little bit helps. So we have these spaces in the corner here. Wow. Yeah, our Flame of Unity, we probably should be building more of these. Except they take a lot of resources we don't really have a ton of. We do have enough to build 2 more Flames of Unity here, if we felt so inclined. But I think we need to be more concerned about where we're going to put a tribute to ingenuity. This magnificent thing here probably realistically needs to go somewhere about right here to get all of the housing, or most of the housing, rather. These are pretty much just for power transference and really don't need to be here. We'll think about that. Oh, hey, we didn't do this. That is a blunder on my part. You know, and I even make a list. I have a little notepad window open. I got a list of things I want to do in each episode. I keep a running tally of, and I still manage to miss stuff. So don't feel bad if you were disorganized, because I guarantee you I am worse. Just gospel truth right there. So it's actually nice to see that despite these running full tilt, this is still just about tall enough to start spilling water back here. That's very, very encouraging. Nice to see that. And of course, we'll get this filled up. We'll have more stuff come over here. And a surprising amount of storage here that I was not expecting. And we can also take use of this space, which, why don't we go ahead and put in some campfires. Find a nice spot right here to put in 2 of those. Right there, and then, yes, for those of you who are so concerned about our beavers' hygiene, we'll put in a shower right after we put in, right next door, some nice shrubberies on either side of the shower. Which, of course, have to be built before we can put the shower in, or else it's going to block access to the shrubberies. But they are on the case. They're working on it. They're getting it done. Hopefully. And then pretty soon should be all good to go. To put in a shower here. Get those beavers nice and squeaky clean. And of course, if we need to deepen this, we can always just demolish the shower. It's not that big of a deal. How many logs does it take to build a shrub? Come on. Finish that thing. There you go. Now we can put our shower in. Very nice. These guys finally have access to campfires after having all of these rooftops and all these lidos. So, good for them. Mud bath should be next. That's going to be a next time thing, though. And, of course, we have plenty of other stuff to do in these other districts. I just really, really wanted to make sure that our water situation was improved, and it looks like it has massively, massively done so. And this is even backfilling from our little dam pieces here. So we are in a very, very, very good place here. We can turn our mechanical pumps off. That's going to save us 1,400 horsepower. So these should now be filling up much, much faster. And all of this, of course, coming through here anyway. Looking nice. We can keep this floodgate down at 0. Or we can raise it, probably should raise it up to, say, 2.5 to build a little bit more water behind here. Yeah, all this stuff is looking very, very good. Very exciting to have all of this work so well after being very, very worried for the safety and longevity of our beavers at the start of this episode just an hour and a half ago. So yeah, this has been a very, very, very long one. So if you like that, congrats. If you don't, sorry. But if you really didn't like it, you wouldn't be still watching at this point. So I think we can assume everyone's fine with these hour and a half long ones. Why are these two at the very end not done? Let's fix that. I do want to get a little bit more blown up here. I was really hoping that more of these would be filled up, ready to go. That is kind of a pain. But what can you do? Not really much of anything. If we get a little bit more water in the next half a day, then all of these holes should fill up. Which would be nice. Even if they just got a little bit of water in the bottom, would be very, very nice to have that. Doesn't really seem like that's going to be the case, though, unless this goes quite a bit faster. How fast are these going? Okay, less than 300. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just watch these corners right here to see just how much more they have to go up in the next 0.3 days. Oh, are we going to get it? We're going to get it? We're going to get it? Oh, look at that surface tension. Look at that. Come on. Ignore the annoying rotating noises. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Tell you what. We'll flood just temporarily. None of these are soybeans over here, so we won't have to worry about it. I just want this water to get into these little holes, and it looks like that's happening. Very, very exciting. Good stuff. I'm going to raise these back up to 2. Hopefully that unfloods before any actual damage is done. Looks like it has. All right, and this is going to have to go back up to 3. Yeah, that's going to be just fine. Filling up very, very slowly, but they are full up. These are as well. Unfortunately, there's no dynamite in them. But, you know, you take what you can get. That's A-okay. 17-day drought awaits us next episode on Tuesday, so we'll go ahead and end today here. But look at this. We got all this water back in. Even after creating more space for water to go. And look at this is great. This is fantastic. To have this in such a better condition. Now these are all kind of drought-proofed, kind of, being the operative term. We have this mechanism to get more water out during long droughts, which I think is fantastic. Should have done that way earlier. This area is looking nice, and I can annoy you guys with that sound, and we can pause over half of these engines because we have almost fully charged gravity batteries, and it's only a 17-day drought, which means we probably won't go through all of our gravity battery power. And if we do, we can just turn the engines back on. But yeah, love to see that. Got a nice long-ish temperate season to make sure that was able to happen. So very thankful for that. Glad that we had these good to go. And I'm glad that we are in a place in our playthrough where it really doesn't matter if we have a little bit of an issue with low water, because you know it's never going to last too long. So yeah, very, very good stuff. Very good first outing for Pumpington, as it were. The terraforming department, of course, there's still plenty more to do. We want to be terraforming pretty much all of this up and blasting all of this down. In fact, there's space here for us to do a little bit more of that, but that's going to affect our water levels on our very shallow areas here, so we're not going to do that quite yet. But it is good to know that this is available. We'll take care of that next time along with all of this. And then, of course, continue to expand all of these, give us more plantable tree space. Might even take all of these up 2 levels. We'll see. Yeah, that's going to be next time. Of course, I'm very appreciative of all of you watching at the hour and 35-minute mark in my recording software. Could be a little shorter when I put it in editing and trim out the space at the beginning when the game loads. But yeah, marathon episode, but we got marathon results. So again, thanks for being here. And of course, a huge shout out to the beard boosters who contribute a little bit of money behind the scenes to make sure that I can keep doing these videos. It is a lot of time to be trying to do this every day, and I am not always able to upload or stream every single day. I really do try my best. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and the support the beard boosters give helps make that possible. So if you're at all interested, there's information in the description on how to join that. But of course, you're never ever obligated to give me anything, not even your time. So just you being here is more than enough for me. Very, very thankful, of course, to those folks who do, though. And hope to see you, of course, in our next video, next stream, whenever that might be. We got all sorts of fun stuff coming up, even though this series is starting to draw toward a conclusion, as well as the Drowned Nightmare Mode series. And Åkerström is starting to get to that point as well. But I've got lots of fun stuff cooking. Some more City Skylines content. Some more Kingdoms Reborn, of course, which you can catch tomorrow. And it's a regular Wednesday upload. And then some other games coming down the pipeline as well, just as soon as I have some time to dive into them, which again is something that the beard boosters allow me to do. Take some time away from other things in my life that I have to do to make some money, offset some of that. But yeah, very appreciative of you, even if you're not one of those people, even if you're not a subscriber, even if this is the only video you ever see. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing some of your day with me. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.